Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket, that crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Believes Crypto Show. My name is Believes, and we're here to talk about this crazy crypto world. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the like button on the way in. And I'm coming to you live from Believes Studios here in Believeland, which is just outside of the city of Chicago, where the Trump invasion has begun. And I don't know what's going to happen over there, but I heard that the thugs, gangster people who with gun shoot one another are doing some kind of threat to the Trump administration. It's absolutely crazy. Anyway, you know where the crime is? It's in all the Republican states. It's not in the Democrat states. Of course, that's just a narrative. That's, you know, I'm just kidding with you guys, by the way. Matter of fact, I've never heard a gunshot here. So, or as Trump would put it, war zone. Anyway, you guys have a good day. We're going to go through this, and I'm going to take you through some of this stuff as quickly as I possibly can. And let's see what kind of information we have going for us for today. All right, first up. So yesterday we talked about the jobs data being lowered by 911,000 jobs, which is the largest in history. June marked the first month with U.S. job losses since 2021. Now, let me go back here because as soon as this data came out, everybody that I know started talking about, oh, yeah, the Biden administration must have been hot. They must have been lying about everything. And I don't disagree with you on that, but the president in June was not Joe Biden. So I appreciate the fact that you have this data thing, but no. June marked the first month with U.S. job losses since 2021. PPI inflation unexpectedly fell 0.1%, second decline in 17 months. U.S. unemployment rose to 4.3, the highest since July of 2024, and then awaiting August CPI and PCE inflation, which last jumped in July. Is the Fed late? Now, the answer to that is yes, the Fed is incredibly late to the game right now, and I don't know how this is going to play out. To be fair, I don't know. It seems to me that Jerome Powell, and by the way, I think Jerome Powell has what he feels is a good non-political reason. And when I say non-political reason, you only have to go back and look at the person that put Jerome Powell in charge. Now, the person that put him in charge is, I believe, a stunt double for Annoying Orange, if you remember that guy from YouTube. It's just out, no inflation, too late, must lower the rate bigly. Now, sometimes I don't understand what the man's saying, okay? But this is the guy that appointed Jerome Powell. So the buck stops here. Do you remember? I don't know if you guys are most of you probably are not old enough to remember this, but there was a time when a United States president took ownership of everything that happened and didn't blame everybody else, that he said, the buck stops here. I'm responsible for everything, right? He said he didn't know who would ever appoint Jerome Powell for anything. Are we paying attention? I hope that you are paying attention. Okay. I really hope you're paying attention. Anyway, so to summarize here, we're going to get a massive rate change, I think. All right. I think that we're put in a situation. And by the way, in case you guys are wondering, in case you guys who spent all this time telling me that I'm out of my mind, that I'm, you can't make this up. If you don't know who that is Marjorie Taylor Greene posting a picture of the thing that Donald Trump said that he didn't do, and that the forensic analyst from the Daily Signal said it was not his signature. The Daily Signal put no such article out. Caroline Leavitt lied to you and was lying to you when this happened. So in case you guys don't understand what's going on, people who want to hold people accountable are starting to hold people accountable. And I can't believe that I'm siding with Marjorie Taylor Greene in this situation. Okay, she is not playing around. She wants that list public. That's your girl. That's your girl. That's your girl. Oh, man, goddamn, this day is great. This day is great. All right, guys. Bull market indicator 0 of 30 hit, which means that we got a long way to go in this market. We're having a nice little pump. If you haven't already, sign up for the channel. If you don't sign up for the channel, you might turn the frogs gay. And nobody, including Alex Jones, wants you to do that. So make sure you sign up. It's $4.99 a month. Helps me out tremendously. If you're doing some risk-based gaming, Terra Casino, by the way, you guys know, or you should know, this is a skin here. Al Dow owns a lot of these different casinos here. So if you are looking for a place for risk-based gaming, then terracasino.io is your place. If you put the username in the description, in the comment section today, maybe we're going to give away $50. Also, if you want to trade meme coins on Terraport, this is the place to do it. Terraport.finance, utility coins, same. Also, don't forget, if you want, and for some reason people do want, if you, I can't do it here, but if you want to click on this right here and you want to go into degen mode right here, then the Believe meme coin will pop up. So there actually is a Believe meme coin. It doesn't do anything. It's not used. There's no function. There's nothing that there's no reason other than just for speculative, who the hell knows kind of stuff. Meme linked. If you haven't already, great time to load up on Meme Linked. So just for clarity's sake, Meme Link is going to merge with Ticker Trending right here. The merge between Meme Linked social media and Ticker Trending Dex is coming. All in one sort of app here. If this thing gets a little bit of traction, it could blow up. Looks like MEX, the official community, is ready for the next pump. You're starting to see some movements here from Meme Link, starting to get a little bit of excitement here. So we'll see whether or not it does something. In things that are not doing anything at all, Devi, it's been now 9 days since the Devi X account has made a single post. For those of you that don't know, yesterday there was something that happened over here, which caused quite the little spark amongst people who are paying attention. Altcoin Daily did an interview with somebody from NASDAQ. Boom, 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 boom. Big things happening in Chris. I think this might be the one right here. It might be this one right here. Big things are happening in cryptocurrency. But there is a video of them interviewing one of the NASDAQ officers, and in interviewing the NASDAQ officer, the conversation was, I didn't watch this, by the way, but it was interesting. Okay, let me just say that from what I gathered here, it was interesting. Devi not mentioned at all. Now, what Altcoin Daily did instead was list their own 7 potential blockchains that they think that it could be, because that's their job. And also in the video, if you didn't notice, they were sponsored by one of those chains when they did it. So that was a speculative sort of gotcha thing. So I wouldn't put too much credence into it. Not that Altcoin Daily would mislead you for money, but they're speculating. You know what I mean? And at least we know that X is not racist. Do you know what I'm saying? At least we know that there's no racism on the X app. That's the important part, right? Anyway, Definity Markets, don't know what's going on there. Saw a few, had a few little comments and stuff like that, but haven't really seen anything that's caused me to say, hey, this thing is going to absolutely take off or send or anything like that. But there are plenty of other ones right now that are sending. And not only that, in the private chat I gave you the other day, there was one that was kind of sitting out there. It's called XVM Volt RWA. And it's not affiliated with Volt Inu, by the way, but they were, it dipped down. It went to 120 million market cap. At some point, somebody sold or bought $600,000 worth, like near the top, ran it up to 120 million. I feel like it was probably a team member or something like that. I have nothing to back that up. But there's no justification or reason or valid anything to do that other than to trigger some buy orders or trigger some shorts or to trigger people who are doing it. But, again, to understand, there was no real reason. So then it dipped dramatically. And then guess what? It's pumping again. I don't know how high it's going to go, but if you got in on it early, there might be something to it. I don't know. Most of what I'm seeing right now coming out of their chat is hype. It's not real utility, but they did release a utility thing showing you what this RWA looks like, what this platform that they have looks like. And it looks like it's supposed to be ready to go. So we'll talk about that maybe at some point in the next day or two. In the meantime, it wouldn't be, I'm not sure. Again, I'm not sure. It's up 173% on the day to 23 million market cap right now. My bag that I got was I don't remember the exact position that I was in. Let me pop this up on the screen. I'm gonna say that I got mine's right around here, 25 million market cap, I think. Yeah, 24. So I got mine at 23 million market cap, and I'm up and I'm in profit. My bag is pumping. So, this might have some legs to it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure that it does or does not, but RWA is all the rage. So I'm going to be watching this one for the next little while. And by the way, when you look at the chart, I don't think this, again, I discredit this move right here. Okay. However, if you look at the natural top of this before that happened, we're talking about 64, 65 million. Okay. So from there, I'm using my Fibonacci from that spot right there. And it broke down to the 618, broke back up to the 236, which is what I tell you it's going to do. Then it broke all the way down here. After breaking all the way down here, it's now starting to stair step its way up. And by the way, let me also point out, remember 2 days ago, we were told to stop trading crypto. A lot of people were told, don't do anything because now they can just hack you for no reason. And that might have been a little bit of a wake-up call to people and might have scared a few people and started a little FUD campaign. And then, of course, as with anything that pumps, people are trying to FUD it because, they want that money to come to their project. So there was a FUD campaign. Doesn't seem to have affected them too much. I don't know how much they have, how much muscle, if you will, that they have behind this project, but it seems like they've got a lot of money. All right. It just seems like they've got a lot of money. They're not paying me a lot of money, but it seems like they've got a lot of money, at least in my estimation. But the volume is over 4 million, which means that it should be listed on exchanges that, anything with big volume that maintains a nice little volume rate is going to get listed on some exchanges because the exchanges, they want the fees off of that money. You don't have to pay for it. They will just do it, right? So I think that you might see something here with this one because, I think, in my opinion, and I don't have anything, again, to back this up, but I think they're protecting their chart. I think they are the ones that are throwing tons of money at this thing to keep it pumping and to keep it flowing. I think they're using a massive market maker, in my estimation. to make this happen. So I don't know what that says about it, but if you look at it from where it is right now and you just kind of break it down, if this trend is to continue right here, it'll be it's going to break out like any moment. You know what I mean? Like it's back in this uptrend right here. The last time it reached that uptrend right there, it ended up going parabolic. So if it breaks out again, I'm not saying 120 million market cap, by the way, but the golden ratio, the golden ratio on it right now is about 162 million. So you could see maybe about a 7 or an 8x off of it. If that happens, I got $375. If that happens, I'll have $3,000 or something like that. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna sit on it for a little while and see what happens. I don't want to sell in this market. You know what I mean? Mark Rutherford says, what about NASDAQ? Are you the same Mark Rutherford that does Louisville content for Card Chronicle, I want to say? What about the NASDAQ investment in Gemini? Bad for Devi? No, because first of all, the NASDAQ investment in Gemini is not a blockchain, so who gives a shit? First, it doesn't really matter. But secondly, and more importantly, it really has nothing to do with. Oh, gotcha. All right, man. I got a guy, by the way, named Mark Rutherford, who does the University of Louisville. He I don't know if he works for them or he does content creation for them or something like that, but same name. Anyway, so Gemini is not a blockchain. They want to go public. This for NASDAQ is an investment. So they're making an open investment into a crypto project, which is Gemini, that is launching and becoming a publicly traded company. That's all this is. So it doesn't even have anything to do with DevE. Well, what does, by the way, and I suggest that you listen to what was being said on that Altcoin Daily interview, because it actually covers some information that when you hear it, really, really, really lines up with what you've heard about DevE all of this time. So I didn't hear, again, I didn't listen to the whole thing. I saw a few snippets, but there were clear pieces where the conversation was definitely in line with exactly what you've been told about DevE so far. So I get a sense here and I get a feeling that might be we might be looking at something very, very cool. I don't know. Again, I have no idea, and we'll see. You know what I mean? At this point, Believe should just go to the casino. There is a casino right by me, and I'm going to see Lamb of God there in 17 days. So yeah, I'll be at the casino. And by the way, to give you guys just an update here, one time 20 years ago, I took $20 into a casino, and people were doing like penny stocks and stuff, penny slots, I think they're called. I took $20, put it into one machine, spun it one time, lost, and that has been the extent of my gambling in the last 20 years. I put $20 into one machine because somebody gave me $20 and said, "Hey, why don't you go do this?" Blah 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 blah. I don't gamble. I have enough risk in crypto that I don't need to go to casinos and stuff like that. Like I don't see anything positive in that one. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then this one time at band camp. All right. So let's talk about what is going on. Mix up another 10% right now. Mantle up 16.5%. Pith up 11.7% on the day. We've got Pump.Fun having a little breakout of 16% on the day. Ondo up 5.8% on the day. We've got Plume up 14%. Arkham's down a little bit. Ronin is making its way up the charts. ZBCN having a nice little day, up 5%. Omni up 13.5%. Prove up 9%. let's skip through here. XNY 21%, Rex 21%, Satoshis is up 15.2%. Factor 2,500% to a 71 million market cap. Factor only up 757% on the month and 572% on the year, but on the day, 25x. What a nice breakout this thing had. Now, I don't know anything about it, so we're gonna, but this is an example of, Naked Ray Gun. I wish, I don't think they're not touring anymore. I mean, Naked Ray Gun is an 80s band. As a matter of fact, I did see, however, that they got back together. I did see them, by the way, in 2015 at Wrigley Field with my son. So I have seen Naked Ray Gun, but they don't actively tour anymore. They do reunion shows. Yeah, they do a few reunion shows every once in a while. By the way, if you like Naked Ray Gun, by the way, Cap Gun Heroes did an album of Naked Ray Gun covers just a couple years ago. So, and by the way, Cap Gun Heroes, local Chicago band, really, really good punk rock band. And it was a lot of fun to listen to. So, inspired covers, I would call it. Takabu's up 35%. GP's up 15.4%. Bake is up 266%. Look at the breakouts that are starting to happen. You know, these are the ones. By the way, this is the spot where I get annoyed with stuff like DevE. Everything is breaking out. Everything is going parabolic. Except the one that was supposed to be the one that was going parabolic. And whatever. All right. So as far as fear and greed index, we're still neutral. Today's probably going to change that. Probably going to push it towards the upside. Probably going to push it back into greed, by the way, because we're up about $100 billion on the day. So I would suspect that fear and greed index probably going to pump a little bit. ETF flows yesterday, 205 to the good for Bitcoin, up 23 million. The Ethereum ETF back in the positive after 6 days of outflows, up 44 million. Not as much to cover some of the losses, but still having a pretty good day. So at least it's green and we're starting to see capital inflows again. Bitcoin up on the day. You got a nice little green candle developing. Is it the breakout candle? Well, kind of. I mean, you know, look, when we get these moves, just imagine here. I don't know that we are. You know, this is everything we're doing is speculative. RSI is over 50, so you know, might need a little bit of, you know, correction. But again, I still think that we've got downward momentum. But, you know, let's go down here. 75,000. What did it look like? It started to break. We got the big candles, the big candles, the big candles. We got the move. We got a little consolidation. And then boom, we got another big move, a consolidation, boom, another big move. So we could be witnessing the start of a trend. And if this trend, by the way, plays out the way that this last one did, we've got a thing over here called bars pattern. Let's use oh god damn it. Now I forgot where the bars pattern is. I think my brain has stopped working sometimes. Like I think my brain has just absolutely stopped working. Because I usually have this thing like sitting here ready to go. And I think they keep moving it is what I think is happening here. I think they're just doing it to like mess with me. But anyway, so if a bars pattern plays out like where it is right there, guess what? Ironically, it goes to the exact top of this range. So we could be looking at a breakout starting to happen. I don't know for sure, but it looks like the possibility exists that we've got that breakout. Now, when we look at the chart, we move in just a little bit. We're on the daily, so it's difficult to kind of predict where moves are happening. First of all, we're rejecting right now off of the 50 MA. In order for us to get bullish, to flip bullish again, you have to remember, are you bullish or are you bearish? You're not bullish if you're under the 50 MA. You're bullish if you're above it. And we're below it right now. But we are above the 200 MA. Natural progression. We haven't tested it, which is a concern. And by the way, haven't tested it over here, which is a concern, meaning that the most likely scenario is another test of the 200 MA, but it is not required. It is not required. So what you could see is you could see a break above. If we get a break above here, then we're going to go a lot higher. And I would speculate not there because I think the trend has kind of shifted a little bit. But, you know, right there feels about right. And that next surge right there takes us into the middle of October, and that's where we get to 135,000 if this plays out the way it is. Of course, it could ignore that trend line completely, and we could get nothing out of it. Could, again, dump down here. I still have in my mind 90 to 95,000 is still sitting there with some potential. Ty G says that CoinGecko is glitching. You want to see glitches? Here, try this one on for size. Let me get rid of this one because that one sucked. But I have M2 money supply, global liquidity index. Check this shit out. Oh no, this is not even the one. Like I saved the wrong one. The M2 money supply, the indicator that we used before. It's not this one. I want to get rid of that one. Yeah, I want to get rid of that one. Extended plus offset is the one maybe here. 108 days. Look what happened to the M2 money supply data. I don't know why it happened, but it looks like it doubled. It looks like it doubled right here. I have no idea what's happening. So the only thing that we can do with the money supply right now while it's broken is just kind of look at it and say, well, from here, are we up? And the answer to that is yes, we are. So we're going to continue a nice little push in M2 money supply. I think the markets are going to price in going up, up, up and away. And we're going to continue this fantastic run that we've been on, especially Bitcoin. But again, it is my opinion that we need Bitcoin to run in order for everything else to run. So if it breaks out right now and we start to see it surge, then we're going to see Bitcoin dominance reverse, which it attempted a reversal a couple days ago. We didn't really get a reversal, and then 5 days of downward momentum. And now guess what? We got a green candle today, which means that the money's going back into Bitcoin and not altcoins, but we're still seeing altcoins pop. So very confusing market. In all honesty, it's a very confusing market right now because we're starting to see inspired performance from altcoins. We're starting to feel it. But along with it, we're not really seeing Bitcoin dumping. So, this could be, a lot of people said that this could be a super cycle. I don't know if that's going to be the case, but I mean, maybe. What is that? If Bitcoin goes to 235, if Bitcoin goes to 235K, or is it 135K? I mean, so if Bitcoin goes up to 135K, let's just say, I don't know if you were using 100, I think 135K is the number. So if it were to do that, then we would get a cascade of that would force an altcoin season. If you just consider the amount of movement right there, be about 20%, be about 20% pump off of where we currently are. And really what we're looking at is we're trying to get up here into like 10% above where we were before, which is 10% at 135,000. The last time we got that crazy surge, guess where it went? It went to like 10%, right? Every time we get a big surge to a new top, about 10% is going to be the number. So that leads us to 135. But here's the thing. What we're looking for is we're looking for a breakdown of the rest of the market. And guess what? We're not seeing that same breakdown. Now we're seeing it from other minor low caps. People are putting their money into Bitcoin because they want to run the price up. But when they make the profit, then it cascades back down. Okay. Now, Bitcoin, let's look at over here again. Bitcoin from here at 124,000 dipped all the way down to 127. But at the same time, Ethereum only went from 5,000 down to 4,300 and has also reversed. We're not seeing the absolute liquidity pull that we used to see. Okay. So Bitcoin has this dip right here, right? And it looks, like we get this double top, we get this nice, That's a pretty nice formation. It's a bearish divergence, but it is still a nice little run here. But look at how catastrophic Ethereum was. Like Ethereum had no momentum at that same time. Well, now let's compare what's going on right here to what's going on with Ethereum right here. Ethereum is not breaking down. Go back and look. Bitcoin breaking down more than Ethereum. So we are right here at altcoin season. So if we go to 135K or anything in that neighborhood, there's going to be so much money that's out here in this market that it will send all of this stuff into a frenzy. Okay. This is going to be the confirmation that you need. Now, the other part of the confirmation, Ethereum has to break out. It's going to have to do $6,000. Here's the change in the dynamic. Okay. The old dynamic was Bitcoin runs super hard, and then all that money starts to cascade into altcoins, but it starts with Ethereum. Okay. Then everything else gets fed from the profits off of Ethereum. Well, guess what? That's not really happening the same way anymore. We've now diversified. So everything goes into Bitcoin first still, but the Ethereum money is also XRP money, is also Solana money, which is absolutely breaking out right now. Let's go back and let's look at one more thing here. Remember, Bitcoin dipping, Solana ripping, Ethereum dipping, Solana ripping. So things have changed, okay? The Solana ETF is coming. The XRP ETF is coming. We don't have very long, by the way. We don't have very long before we start seeing those things happening, okay? So when that happens, of course, we'll have a little dip, but then that's when we get just a crazy, crazy, crazy run. So right now, the rate cut bets. All right, so we look at FedWatch. The FedWatch rate cut bets for the moment are at a 25 basis cut, and it's an 88% for a 25-point basis cut. If we cut to 50 or more basis points, this market will soar, okay? Because it means borrowing is back on the table. It means massive borrowing is back on the table. So if we do it conservatively and we only do 25 basis points, like if we're not getting ahead, if the Fed is still failing the American people the way that it's failing the American people right now, if it fails the American people in this fashion, then we are going to be, as crypto, we'll be okay. We won't get the blow off that we're looking for. If we get 50 to 75 basis point rate cut, if we actually get them stepping up and doing something, then guess what? This whole market goes nuts. All right. It will go nuts. Now, the anticipation, let's remember something. The anticipation of it would cause a probable buy the rumor, sell the news event. Okay. So I'm going to tell you this. They're going to price this in over the next couple of days as we get closer and closer and closer. As we're looking at new data, the new data is indicating that, remember, we lost 911,000 jobs. The markets are not, the markets are pricing in a definite rate cut because we lost so many jobs. That means that the market is not as healthy to withstand these high interest rates as they previously thought. The Fed was just wrong. So now, how do you fix it and how do you get it right? By the way, it really sucks for me to say this, but Trump was right. Again, Trump was right. The rate cuts should have happened a long time ago. You know what I mean? Like, rate cuts should have happened a long time ago. So anyway, back to this. If we get the surge to 135,000, then Solana, 350, 360, 370. Ethereum, I don't have confidence in Ethereum to 8,000. I'm going to stick with 6,000 for right now. But when I look at the markets, when I look at how close we are to that spot, and then I look at the capital money flow and I see that the way the market is lining up, I'm going to change my thesis back to 8,000 pretty soon. I don't really have any reason to do it at this point. Okay. 6,000 would be, you know what I mean? It does, man. It hurts. It hurts to say Trump was right, but he was right. He was absolutely right. This should have been done a long time ago. And by the way, the reason that he's saying it is for an entirely different reason, because he wants to refinance the U.S. debt. So he needs the rates to come down because it would save $1 trillion. So his reasons are different than mine, because I don't give a shit about that. I just care about crypto. But nonetheless, take a victory lap, Donald Trump. Well, I guess he can't take victory laps. He's too goddamn old, fat, and gross to take a victory lap. Take a victory caddy in a small car around your golf course. That's a victory lap, isn't it? So, but anyway, let's talk about OM real quick. OM starting to have that move. Yesterday, I broke it down for you on the 1 hour, and I said, hey, we're starting to break out. It's looking more and more and more and more and more and more bullish, right? Right there it is, right there, looking really good. Now, a big announcement just came out, and you might have missed it. We're on the hour. We're on the hour right now, and we have a crossover. We had our golden cross on the 1 hour. We have a move above the 50. We're above the 200. We're in this channel, breaking to the top of this range. This is a very bullish structure right now for Mantra. But let's go into what they just announced, which was actually pretty cool. They have started a migration, all right? In accordance with Governance Proposal 17, we are now starting the process of deprecating protocol-owned liquidity on Polygon, Base, and BNB. Okay, so what they're doing is they're pulling their liquidity on Polygon, Base, and BNB. This liquidity will be moved to the OM ETH pool on Ethereum, Uniswap V2, until Q4 of 2025, which means that there will be more trade volume coming in on Mantra on the Ethereum chain. They've made a decision that they're going to go right there. Then the OM ETH pool will then be deprecated, and the liquidity will be moved to the Mantra chain to support the native DEXs. So there's DEXs being built there. They're creating their own, look, they've got a nice ecosystem, okay? And it's continuing to build. So we're at an inflection point here where Mantra has reversed it, okay? Comeback season equals right here, right now. Here's the Mantra EVM, the Ethereum virtual machine. Real world win. Shout out to Win Investments. Look at this. Official announcement from Win Investments. Presale 1 sold out. Presale 1 of Wins was sold out at a record time. Thanks for the support and trust of the community. This is just the beginning. The second stage of the presale is coming soon. Join the wait list for our official website and secure your spot in the next stage. Wins Investment is an investment firm that's working on the Mantra chain, and it's sports RWAs on chain. Invest in football transfer markets and trade the game in the world's first sports investment ecosystem powered by Wins. So, and that's the Mantra chain. So we're seeing a lot of growth all of a sudden on Mantra. So you're probably going to look at that breakout that I've been talking about for a long period of time. Now there is some, let's go to the 4 hour. How do we feel about it on the 4 hour? 4 hour, we're still pretty bearish, but we've crossed the 50 MA. You cross the 50 MA, that's a good start to a reversal, right? Because that's what you need to see. You need to see these reversals happening, right? Well, if you come down here, we now have a clear reversal on the 4 hour coming back up. Now, over the next couple of days, this continues to happen. Then we get into the late part of September. Boom. We got a 4 hour golden cross. 4 hour golden cross means that you probably are going to experience some significant gains off of that. Every time we get that cross, what happens? Massive move. That's an indicator. By the way, it's not because of the MAs, it's because of the investors. The MA is simply a lagging indicator that tells you what investors are doing. So we're just reading the tea leaves in this regard. So But this is a swift and pretty big upward move. If we continue to see that, then you'll see this crossover happen, and then massive move again. If we go to 40 cents, by the way, if we do 40 cents again, I'll feel pretty confident about that. It's this little range right here. It's that volume node right there that matters the most. But we could see a break to 40 cents coming up pretty soon. Would inspire a lot of confidence in the mantra chain. DevE is up 4% on the day. No reason for DevE to be up. There's not really anything going on other than the rest of the market moving. So, but here, let's go back 4 hours. On the 4 hour, we're above the 50, which is bullish. And guess what? We just broke out above the 200 just now. So that would be over the next couple days. Same thing. Golden cross and then a break. And where does the break go to? It is my estimation that the next move for DevE, and I cleaned up these charts, by the way. The top of this range really kind of sits at 60 cents. I don't see anything higher than that right now. There's just too much traffic and flow right there. If we put the volume profile on, then I think when it populates, and I don't know if I did something wrong to this thing or not, but right there is the biggest node right there at about 55 cents. So we'll see if it breaks above 55. But if it does, then it goes into this 60-cent range. And then ultimately, right here at 70 cents. And then if it gets a good run going, then right there at about 95 cents to $1. So DevE is primed for a move. We'll see whether or not it happens. All of the indicators are in place right now for something to go on. Again, we're at 4 hours and the 4 hours looking good. How does the 1 hour look? 1 hour looks like boom. We've had the golden cross, which is where we went up to 50 cents right there. And then it corrected, but now look at that starting to spread out again. So it looks like we're having a breakout. What we would like to see again for some confirmation is a break higher back into this 50-cent range, maybe touching the top of this little candle right here. We've already touched the top of this range with this one. So we're looking at that 50-cent move. We get a 50-cent move. People are going to be looking at it and paying attention. And by the way, the reason that this is bullish is because MYX still popping. We've got, we just talked about a bunch of different cryptos that are breaking out right now. So to see something like DevE also breaking out is going to be bullish for the project because other people are going to speculate. They're going to be like, wait a minute, let's read a little bit about it. And then they're going to start to put the pieces together and they're going to read their own tea leaves. And then they're going to say, you know what? Yeah, I need to throw a few bucks at this just to see what's going to happen. Now, by the way, just to give you guys my opinion here, this right here validates what I have been saying, that it is going to break out. It is going to have that parabolic run. MYX, just to give you guys some full clarity, was at 6 cents not that long ago. Okay. Zoom out here. I'm on the 1 hour. Let me get to the 1 day here. Boom, 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 boom. It was at 4 cents. I'm sorry. It was at 4 cents not that long ago. 6 cents ultimately before it broke out. Let's call it 10. It was at 10 cents. All right. DevE's at 45 cents. Okay. So we're talking about it breaking out. If it breaks out the same way, it's 4 times the value differential is 44 cents. So if it breaks out with the same robust sort of move here, then 4x from where we currently are, which is $16.80. That means that DevE would be in line right now to about $70 if it breaks out the same way MYX did. How did people hear of MYX? Well, MYX has been it's been a platform for a while. Hold on. And it had about $1 billion in trade volume in January of this year. Bum, 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 bum. Right here. So people have been trading on this for a while. $1 billion. Last month, $10 billion. Is that bots? Is that, who's trading on this platform? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know it was 10 billion. And that was reason enough to show success and cause people to say, hey, you know what? this is where I need to be trading. So, and right there, boom. I mean, it's simple. This is a simple platform. There's nothing special about it at all in this regard. You do have staking, you do have airdrops, you do have different ways to earn, you do have different referrals. You also have bridges that allow you to move your funds over. So, again, there's nothing special about it, but trade volume picked up. Trade volume picked up. People got excited about it. And the next thing you know, the rest is history, because MYX goes absolutely nanners. And you're going to get an MYX airdrop. And remember, for those of you who don't know, if you trade on Jupiter, you get Jupiter coins every year, or Jupiter tokens every year. Last year, I got like $1,000 in Jupiter for trading. And it's per wallet, by the way. It's per wallet. So I don't remember exactly when I was able to claim it, but I want to say it was up in this range right here. Like, I think we claimed these. I think we claimed them up here. You know what I mean? So Jupiter would have to really kind of break out to get back there. I would prefer to see Jupiter staying down here, because the next claim I think is in January. And if it's trading at 50 cents and it breaks out from there, that would be fantastic. I don't think that it will, by the way. I think that Jupiter is going to break out before that. The reason that it would break out before that it is because it's speculative, and once everybody unlocks their Jupiter coins or Jupiter tokens, then they're going to be selling. Like, there's no reason to hold on to them. I mean, you just saw them. If you held on to it for a year right now, your claim was kind of right here at $1. So if you got 1,000 tokens right now, they're only worth $530. So nobody's incentivized to continue to hold on to those. So we'll see we'll see what happens, see if it breaks out. But anyway, Fias. If you made a profit off of Fias, right now would be a good time to get back into it. Okay, what you got was that big move right there. But again, when this thing dips down to the bottom of this range, tends to break back out. So I would go for it. We're possibly getting bullish right now. We're above the 200, but rejected off of the 50 on Pepe. Pepe's got a long way to go to reestablish some confidence. But if any meme coin is going to do it, it's going to be Pepe. Dogecoin, SHIB. Let's go down the list here and see if there's anything else to really talk about and break out here. We got Pith Network is up 10% on the day after a massive breakout and then dip off of there. Now, I said before, this could be where we're going, right? Didn't even get a shot at it. Broke out and went the other way. By the way, that's an example of how altcoin season is building, by the way. There was another double-digit big one right there. DeLorean Motor Corporation, the DeLorean DMC. I reached out to them for a partnership, didn't get any feedback from them. They actually reached back to me and said that we'll look at it and we'll let you know. And they never let me know. So, but did have a nice little breakout over here. So hopefully that's going to be an example of a bullish recovery or a bullish move right here. In this regard, I would be looking at this right here and looking for an entry position if you're going to enter at 0.0035, 0.0036, somewhere in that 0.004, down below 0.004. Yeah. By the way, they're building new DeLoreans. So I would look for it to break down to the bottom of this range. If it breaks down to the bottom of this range, that's when I would go in. That's when I would buy a little bit and see what happens. But I would wait for that to happen. I would give myself that. I mean, look, it may not happen, but it might happen. So whatever. All right, now let's go to the memes and let's go to this. Volt XVM is breaking down a little bit, was up 276% a little while ago, having a nice little surge up to 27, I want to say, million market cap. 26 million market cap, almost 30 million. Now we're having a little bit of sell off because, weak ass Chads, man, these paper handed hoes That's who they are. It's what they do. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just they're looking to scalp. They're looking to trade. So if more new buyers come in, then this thing's going to continue pumping, or maybe it doesn't. Anyway, be waiting here to see what happens with that one. Tarze up 5% on the day. Devi, we just talked about. Blocky's up 4% on the day. Definity's up 4% on the day. OM is up 3.5% on the day. Crocky's up 3% on the day. Bonk is up 3%. Volt Inu is up 2%. Rocky up 2%. WikiCat up 1%. API 3 up 1%. Back to $1. Fias up 1.16%. O'Hare not doing anything there. I haven't exited O'Hare, but the next pump, if there is a pump, on the next pump, I'm going to get out. The reason that I'm going to do that is if we come over here and we look at the website, don't have a problem with that. But here, they're not active. They're not doing anything. So in the event that there's any kind of pump on O'Hare, I'm just going to, it's $50. You know what I mean? Like, I think my bag is worth $50 at this point. But also, just to be fair here, I already made money off of it, so I'm not really concerned. But, I just don't see any reason to think that they're doing anything with it. So in the event that there's some kind of pump, I'm just going to get out. And you never know what's going to happen. The other thing is, I don't even think they're listed with CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko. I think they thought they were going to do something and then they just didn't have the money. You know what I mean? So I don't think that I'll get the fuck out of that as soon as I can. Meme Link down 1% on the day. 100x Solana down 1.44%. Meme Link, by the way, broke down off of the structure of that chart. By the way, all that means is I'm just going to move this down here and, kind of look at it from this different sort of spot right there. Again, a break to the top of that range will inspire some confidence. That's what we need to see. You see that happen, and you could get a nice, enormous breakout. Never know. Anyway, that's my time, guys. I got to get out of here. I'm going to go get that swole on. So you guys have a good day. 4.5 trillion market cap. 4.5 trillion market cap is the next big surge area that I'm looking for. Okay. I'm looking for the markets to really just kind of go crazy. I think that everything is lined up right now for massive rate cut. Everything is lined up now for this market to go absolutely bananas for a short period of time. If we look at the capital flow, which is all screwed up by the money supply being messed up on TradingView, without that, it was looking like we were in an explosive zone where we were about to take off. So I suspect that we're going to see a big takeoff happening very, very soon. Everything that you want to know about crypto that's bullish, it's right there in front of us. We've got mass adoption happening. We've got new buyers stepping in. We've got traditional finance coming in, trying to tokenize. We've got NASDAQ out here saying we want to tokenize stocks and bonds. We want to tokenize security. We want to do what's needed for the future. So I got a sense here and a feeling that we are moments away from a generational pump. When that happens, take your money along the way. Okay. Don't get wrecked. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right. You guys have a good day, and we'll talk to you again very, very soon.
I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining.